Another major Senate race people are watching today is in Texas. That is where GOP Senator Ted Cruz is locked in a very tight race for a third term. Lauren Adams with Scripps News Waco has more.
The Senate race between incumbent Ted Cruz and Democrat Colin Allred is in the national spotlight.
Texas is second largest state population-wise. It's drawing a lot of national interest.
And usually if the president goes Republican, so will the Senate seat. So the thing to watch will be how much Cruz is underperforming compared to Trump. Trump defeated Biden by 6 percentage points in Texas in 2020. And Greg Abbott won by over 10 percentage points. So there is still a Republican lean in the state.
So the question is, if, say, Trump were to only win the state by 3 or 4 percentage points, could Allred peel off enough voters to make it a seriously close race, where maybe we don't even know the winner on election night?
It's becoming less and less that voters split their votes or vote Republican for one race and Democrat for another. In 2016, there were 0 states with split ballots, and in 2020, there was 1, Maine. But that could change this year, and that's what Allred is betting on. So this is another round of, is Texas turning purple?
Trump is the favorite for sure in Texas, but if he wins by, say, less than 5 percentage points, that to me is just kind of a line in the sand that indicates, yeah, Texas does seem to be trending, slowly towards being a toss-up state potentially going forward. But we'll have to see what the results show on election night.
We ask this question a lot. Is Texas turning purple? Remember, incumbent Senator Ted Cruz also locked in a close race with former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and it was really tight, but Cruz ultimately prevailed back in 2018. But again, the Senate, so much at stake considering the vulnerabilities for Democrats, and it's key to passing any legislation. And of course, what you mentioned, Supreme Court justices as well.
Which is huge, as Trump's first term, proved. 3, third of the court.
And 2 that are closing in on retirement, 2 of the conservative justices.
And that's also a factor here, not to
getting older.
Get into the weeds, but there's reporting out there that suggests that both Clarence Thomas and Justice Samuel Alito both want to retire. They've done decades on the court, but clearly the way it works in our country without term-limited justices is that they don't want to leave if there's a President Harris, but would leave if there's a President Trump. So the Supreme Court politics, which have become clearer in recent months, is fascinating too. But the general wisdom, conventional wisdom right now, is that Republicans will take back the Senate and Democrats will towel. So there'll be a flip of the chambers. That is what the polls suggest, but the only poll that matters is the one happening right now. So we shall see. But
to your point about the Supreme Court making an impact, that directly impacted a lot of women in Texas when it comes to the Dobbs decision.
Right.
And we saw Kate Cox come to the national spotlight over her abortion battle.
She had to leave the state.
She had to leave the state for abortion care, and that got a lot of media attention. So you wonder if that is becoming a motivating factor to Texas turning more purple.
And we've been talking about the purple effect in Texas for a long time. Cruz always seems to pull it out. So we'll see what. But also what's interesting is that as much time as Harris and Trump, of course, have spent in the battlegrounds, the one time Harris did kind of veer off the trail was to go to Texas and had that big rally in Houston with Beyonce and to endorse Ted Cruz's opponent. So Democrats are at least smelling the purple down there, at least want to make it interesting. We'll see.
The last time Texas voted Democrat was for Jimmy Carter in 1976.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see if that shift happens, maybe not this year, but in the elections to come.
And God bless Jimmy Carter for living to see election 2024.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to the former president.
He's a fighter.
Lord. If there ever was a fighter, President Carter's it.